Welcome back, guys. We are back once again to continue the story of Star Wars: A Survivor Story. Now, hopefully, you guys have been enjoying this. I've been enjoying talking to you guys about this. But recap on the very last episode we decided to have on the channel. Caleb was telling Helena as well as Era that he was a survivor from the Jedi Purge, and he tells them about what happened. And now they're on another planet that reminds him a lot of Naboo from his missions. And Helena wants to become a Jedi, and Caleb does not think that she should. So he does want to be able to bring the Jedi back, but also he's unsure. So we're going to continue that off. I'm going to make this just as long as possible, as short as possible. That way we can extend it. Hope you guys are enjoying this. And again, this is a rough draft of what I've been writing. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and I hope you continue to enjoy. Gib looking up in the sky, making sure the Jedi can survive in no impossible way, hearing the words of Master Shock T at the very last time he saw her, when the Jedi were still alive through the war. The last time he saw her as a Padawan, she says, no matter what happens in this war, the Jedi must live on somehow, some way, whether it is through me or you, my Padawan learner. I know that, Master. Realizing back into the present, he walks in Elena's room, sits down, shakes her, waking her up, eyes barely open. We begin training tomorrow. Be ready. What? You heard me? Be ready. Entering the room, looking out the window, remembering his master, how powerful she was during what she did before the order, running, seeing all the comrades die, killing everybody that he knew, seeing his own fellow brethren being killed by clones. I have to keep going on for my master, but for the order. I have to keep going. Going on to bed, stirring back and forth, not being able to sleep, getting up early, going to bed knowing he's no longer the student, he now has to be the master. To a dead order and among, try to teach others that wants to learn this dead, possible, extinct language, not but teachings. Looking out toward the ocean, his once Jedi robes, and seeing Helena walk out into the training gear, wearing something he saw a lot, which was woman-trained soldiers of the rebellion. Helena states she is ready for her training. Are you, Caleb asks, throwing her a stick. What is this for? Helena asks. Do you really think I'm going to give you a lightsaber for a newbie? You really think that? You're crazy. After a few hours of showing Helena combat moves as well as defense skills for droids that he learned as a Padawan learned from Master Yoda as well as Shock T and even from Mace Windu, Caleb have even pruned a hollow droid for Helena and himself to train against like he was during the Clone Wars. This is very helpful, Helena states. Yes, it is. How do you think I became so good before I even became a Jedi Knight? So what exactly do I need to learn? Not only how to use a lightsaber, but also how to connect with the Force. That's going to take the longest if you're not opening your mind and your body to it. So what do? Now that we are done with the basics of the lightsaber, I want you to open up your mind. Having her sit down for hours upon end, looking at her, but also sitting down at the same time, being able to focus onto the Force, being able to lift small rocks in the area as well as a couple plants. He's able to move a few things. Seeing Helena be in astonishment, he says, okay, now you. Helena has a hard time trying to be into the Force just as well as Caleb did, because Caleb had cut himself off the Force for the last few years. It feels like I'm in training once again, Caleb states. Hours pass. We go into through the night. Illyria watches Helena train with Caleb at first, then she's done with the day. Okay, we're going to be doing the same thing tomorrow. Well, what do you expect me to do? Well, you're looking over to Illyria. She's a fast learner. As a result, you are very strong and a very fast learner. You could have potential. Jedi fight the Clone Wars. She was a natural, Caleb thinks. Stop. Yells, that's enough. Continue tomorrow. Once that's done, we will continue. If I'm using the simulation for my skills and to fight and defend, then why am I using a stick? The weapon needs to flow through you. Be a part of you, like it's another arm. You need to understand it before I even give you a lightsaber. Very well, Helena states, then we will continue tomorrow. Fine. As the next day comes, they continue the same thing over the next few days, even the few hours. Within 5 to 7 hours of training, Helena had never gone through this kind of training herself, and beating the simulation at the highest point after delivering the final blow to the droid. Helena sees Caleb walk in and tells him, I'm ready for the next step. You are not ready for the next step. Just because you can beat it with a stick does not mean you are ready for a lightsaber, and you can still have issues connecting to the Force. I am ready, Helena yells. My father died, and my mother may die if I don't give this my all. Gib stops, and again he tries somehow to using the Force to get the lightsaber in her hand and ignites it. Charges at Caleb, and he ducks and dodges her attack. Is all you have, he states. Lena lunges at him, and as she does, Caleb ignites another lightsaber, red peering down at the blue as he fights her off and pushing her down, back looking at her. And you think you're all ready now? Gab takes both lightsabers and turning them off, putting them on the table. Helena gets up. Where did you get a red lightsaber? You mean a Sith lightsaber? I took it from an Inquisitor. What is an Inquisitor? Gab sighs. After years of being in prison and fighting off many allies of the Empire from Darth Vader, I heard he trained warriors. Vader? Helena asks. Yes. Apparently he's a Sith Lord that is a attack dog for the Emperor. He trained other Sith Inquisitors that were either running from the Jedi or were just too weak to be turned to the dark side. The only reason I grabbed it was because it was a symbol of making sure I was able to take care of another Sith Inquisitor, and I hid it before I was imprisoned. So what happened? As you can see, I keep it around. He continued to train warriors, carry out these lightsabers. One found me, and we fought, and I killed him. I grabbed it only to use for certain reasons. I used the saber today to show you that you may be able to fight off troopers or droids, but not a Sith or a warrior trained by one, such as me. Then train me, Helena states. Gale turns around, comes to her, and says, okay, but if we get this started, you have to be fully committed into becoming a Jedi. I'm going to have to teach you different ways and how I was different. When I was young, I was brought into the order very young. You are wanting to train at a very late age. Well, I'm not that old. I'm not saying that. I'm only saying that when a Padawan is brought into the Jedi Order, we are very young, from the ages to 3 to 5. We don't have connections. We lose that connection so we can be focused. You are in your late teens, so of course you're wanting to become a Jedi Knight. Well, I'm almost 20. Well, I understand that, Gale states. But I was very young again, so I have to train you different than I was trained. Very well then. Gib sits down both of the lightsabers. I'm going to have to train you even harder with these holo droids and even myself. You may even get hurt. While I do not care, I need to continue to train to protect my mother and protect myself. If you're ready for this, then I don't know what else to say. Gib throws her the blue lightsaber, charging at her with the red lightsaber. I'm going to go full force on you. Okay then, Helena states. Charging at Helena with everything he has, she dodges the attack surprisingly, and she actually uses the Force to push him back. Looking at her in astonishment, D lighting the lightsaber, looking at her. You are actually learning now. Am I? Yes, you are. And I think we are now ready for the next step of our training, don't you? Helena distinguishes the lightsaber, gives it back to Caleb. How do I have my own lightsaber? Well, there are other ways to get a lightsaber, but that'll be for another time. Okay, what's next? Hope you guys enjoyed this part 4 of the Survivor story. I got more that I'm still working on. So once again, guys, this is a very story that I like to do. But again, I hope you guys have been enjoying this. But more and more has happened into this story. I really love doing this. It's amazing. I love it. I love Star Wars. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'm seeing you guys on the very next one.